This video is rated TV-16, has some harsh language which may not be appropriate for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. All right, Heavy Metal Explosion here, coming at you with another video to talk about. This time it's more of a comparison video. I recently got this Slugslinger, and as you can tell, it's got a little target master. Well, we all know the US models didn't come with these. They were the headmasters, and they came with a cheesy two-gun thing that turned into some kind of rocket ship or boat or something of that effect. And this is the Japanese version or Chinese version, whichever version this is. And the neat thing about it is that and I don't have any pictures, but the original Target Master had his Target Master had a single barrel to it. And this figure here, as you can see on the back side here, has a single barrel for his Target Master when he goes into gun mode. Now, this isn't the exact figure because the weapon barrel on the back side is different, but I picked up this one, which is the new Siege figure, the Battle Masters, I think they're called. But this one on the back has, I want to say this is like, I don't know if it's Misfires or whom it was, but this is similar to this because it had a main barrel to it. And I like that figure, and this will wind up being the one that I would use for this Slugslinger. By the way, Slugslinger and Misfire? Misfire was my probably two favorite Target Masters growing up, mainly because they were so different than regular jets, and you know, they just did something for me. So to throw out a few more comparisons just for the sake of doing so. This guy is the triple change-in style Target Master thing that came with Swerve here. And you can see they're relatively the same size. I mean, give or take. And now the Prime Master or Headmaster or Titan Master, however you want to call it, this here is one of them. I mean, the scale here is, I mean, I would dare say that if I was going to do Headmasters, I would do them in Voyager scales so that all your little figures here could all be roughly the same size. And if you knew you was going to bring out Target Masters, then bring them out as Target Masters. And your Headmasters, I mean, if you absolutely had to keep them the same size, if you do them deluxe, then go for it. But what I'm here to do is to just show off a little bit about some of these figures and just to give an opinion. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen these figures. The Japanese are probably a little bit harder to come by than the others. Um, so I dare say that if need be, I'll go ahead and show off this figure here. One of the things that I like more than I like the new Battle Masters is that these had knee bends, no elbow, but they also had head rotation. Did it need it? Head rotation? No. Did it need a knee bend? Of course it did. You want your figures to function like these here, or the legend scale. You know, could they have put in elbow joints? I think so. I've seen them with smaller figures with more articulation than what these have. But this here is a nice figure. So if I can remember how to transform this one, I think it goes something like this. I'm sorry, guys. Flip this around so that this does that there. And this here comes around. I think it's supposed to come around like this, pegging to the top. And you can leave the arms back here to give it some dimension, or maybe fold them up. Or I don't guess there's any way to do that one other than put them behind here. So sorry if my fat hands are getting in the way, but this here, I'm sorry. This here is Slugslingers. I should have turned the head around, but I didn't. So that's this figure. Now we're getting into the US counterparts. Flip that up. Take this here, which they took most of the idea of these from those guys, upscaled them just a hair, but left out pivotal articulation that they could have put in and it would have been just fine. And this is this one here. Now again, I'm not sure who takes this one, whether it's Scourge or Cyclonus, but for me, because it's so reminiscent of the single barrel like Slugslinger had in his beginnings, I like this one. If I had this one too, with the US model of Slugslinger, this is the one I would use. So we'll just take this one, peg it into the hand here. Take this one, peg it in the hand there, and bam. Now he's got two guns. I like the US stuff because it's easy to get to, obviously. But this Slugslinger from Japan, with that Target Master, even though it has the legs folded up the way they are, I still think it's a slightly better representation of the original Target Master than these here. Now, I don't have but maybe three of the Japanese ones. I've got Cup, which currently is packed up, and I've got Twin Twist. Um, and of course, he's buried under a bunch of stuff here in my laboratory. But again, if you have the US Slugslinger, I would go with this Target Master. It's a good representation of the original. It's anyone that was old enough to remember the original, then you know he had a single barrel for his weapon. But I guess in the end, if you can get your hands on this version, then this is the better weapon for him. This is the better Target Master, mainly because if you needed to transform him into robot mode, he's got knee articulation. So is that a big deal? No, not really. But it was big enough for me because I didn't like those gaudy weapons that came with all the Target Masters anyway, or Titan's Masters, Titan Returns, or whatever they called, the Headmasters. I didn't really like those. But I do like these, and I like the new Siege Wave, and I'm going to, while I've got some time, I'm going to start reviewing a lot of the Siege stuff that I picked up, and some of the Titan Return stuff that I didn't get to review. So again, this is just a comparison between Slugslinger's Japanese weapon and American release weapons, and kind of a size comparison. So this wasn't an actual review, but it's something for me to get started after the long hiatus that I took. So if you like this video, give me a like, subscribe, and leave a comment for any improvements you think I could do in order to help this thing along. All right, until next time.